Everybody, what's up? It's time for my weekly DLC review for Rock Band 4. This week we've got a six-pack from Van Halen. And I'm not as excited as I was for the Aerosmith pack because I own all these songs as part of my customs for my Xbox 360. But you know what? I still encourage you guys to go support Harmonix. This is a great band. We're probably going to see more DLC from. And the first song we're going to talk about is Aint Talking About Love. And this song on guitar, I'm sort of conflicted about because I really like the song, but I found that it can get a little repetitive. Like there's two main riffs you sort of play over and over again. And this is sort of the case with a lot of Van Halen songs I found that were released this week. Like there's the two main riffs you play and it gets a little bit boring after that. And then there's two guitar solos which sort of add a little bit of spice to the song. I think the guitar is pretty mediocre or middle of the line. I felt sort of the similar way about the drums too. There's two main beats you'll play, but what really sort of spices up the drum track is that there's some fun fills around the toms, especially towards the later part of the song. You'll be doing like rolls around the toms, and then you do reverse rolls, which are really fun. I'd say the drums are pretty mediocre too, and I sort of felt the same way about the bass guitar as well. I sort of just chugs along, and you sort of play a couple notes on each different color. There was nothing really that stood out about this song, but if you are a Van Halen fan, I definitely encourage you guys to buy this song. Let's go into our next song of the week. Next song is And the Cradle Will Rock. I found it was a fairly decent song on guitar. It's definitely easy, on the easier side. And then there's two guitar solos that definitely make the song a lot more difficult. I think you'll be playing it and you're like, why is it tiered so high? And then you'll find out that, oh, the guitar solos were really what increased the difficulty of the song. I felt it was a little bit more well varied than Ain't Talking About Love. I'm not a great guitar player, so I do enjoy the easier songs. I'd say the guitar is definitely worth checking out. The drums are an improvement over Ain't Talking About Love. It takes a standard rock beat and it throws like a lot of different variation in. So there's like a lot of playing on the open hi-hat. There's some really fun playing on the toms as well, incorporated with a closed hi-hat. So that those kinds of things kind of spice up the drum track, definitely make it worth a purchase. The bass is, I'd say it's probably the weaker instrument out of the three. There are some fun parts where you're sort of playing along the fretboard, like across the fretboard. But then there's some parts where you're just chugging along, playing the yellow note and then red, and you sort of alternate back and forth. I'd say the bass is pretty decent. Let's go to our next track. Song of the week is Dance the Night Away, and this is probably one of my favorite custom songs, so I was happy to see it finally released for Rock Band 4. This is I think the only Van Halen song this week that has no guitar solo in it. It's, got a mixture of single notes and chords. I really enjoyed playing it because it was definitely on the easier side. It kind of reminded me of some of the songs like Crying from the Aerosmith pack. If you're looking for an easier guitar track, then this is probably gonna, probably be the right fit for you. In terms of drums, I found the drums super fun. It's definitely on the easier side, but there's a lot of fun little playing on the hi-hat. There's some quick little fills on the toms as well as the snare, and then it's basically built around like simple rock beat. And there's the fun part where you're sort of playing like cowbell and you're playing those other percussion parts too. Definitely say you should pick it up on drums. I thought the bass part was better than I expected. It's got enough variety that you're sort of playing across the fretboard. It's definitely an easier song on bass, but I didn't find it was too repetitive to the point that I didn't enjoy it. I'd say it's worth getting if you want an easier bass part, but that's still got some, nice variation in it. Let's go into the next song of the week. Our next song is Hot for Teacher, and this one I think a lot of people already knew what to expect given that it was already in Guitar Hero World Tour and it was in Guitar Hero Van Halen. This song on guitar completely destroyed me. This was a really hard song, especially the solo parts of it are super challenging. It's ranked Devil Tier on guitar. For me, this one's a little bit too difficult for me. I wouldn't play this song a whole lot. But I will say if you're looking for a really challenging guitar part, this is probably one of the harder songs we've probably seen released for Rock Band 4. I'd recommend buying it in that case. The drums, you know what you're getting with this song. This is a ridiculously difficult song on drums. The intro is killer. I can't even play the intro. I found that the actual part after the intro got a little repetitive. Like you're playing the same beat like over and over again. You've got some snare. You've got some you've got some crash cymbals thrown in. You've got some rolls you're doing. Like there's enough to keep your attention. I wouldn't say it's a great drum part, but if you are looking for a very challenging song, this is probably the hardest drum song that's been released to date that I can think of. The bass part is actually really good in this song. It's probably one of the better and more, more moderate difficulty songs. I'd recommend you guys pick it up on bass if you're looking for a fun bass song. It's probably the best bass song of the week. Let's go into our next song of the week. Our next song of the week, and I think this is probably the worst song of the week. This one is Running with the Devil. And, on all instruments, this is just not a very good song. The guitar was just really boring. It's got a lot of sustains in it and just not a whole lot going on. I felt the same with the drums. It's like a standard rock beat. There's some fills thrown in a bit, but I just found it didn't really keep my attention. The bass was easily the worst instrument. you're just playing like, these quarter notes they appear to be, and then, you play the same notes after a while and you switch with a little sustain maybe, then you go back to playing the same note. Definitely a skippable song on all instruments, although I think if you're a vocalist, you'll probably get some enjoyment out of this song. It is ranked pretty high on, I think it's a devil tier on vocals. Let's go into our final song of the week. Our final song of the week is Unchained, and this one is definitely on the easier side for guitar. It kind of reminds me of Aerosmith, like I've made the comparison before in this video. What really makes it difficult are the two guitar solos in the song. They're actually really difficult. I enjoyed the song. The main riff is pretty easy to play. I'd say it's definitely worth buying. The drums I found were really fun too. It's like a standard rock beat, but then there's like a lot of different variation with playing on the hi-hat, playing rolls on the toms, and even like a lot of heavy kick pedal as well. So I think if you're looking for like a moderately difficult song that's got enough variety, I definitely recommend you pick up Unchained. I felt the bass was just definitely the weakest. It's like it sort of just chugs along and you play, some few sustains here and there, but then there's some notes where you're just playing like the same green notes over again, the same red notes over again. It's kind of repeated. Definitely skippable on the bass. That does it for this week's review, guys. Thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe for the latest Rock Band 4 Guitar Hero Live and Amplitude news. Take care.